had a sour tamarind drink and then you had water to this drink so that it could be diluted. But this water ain't working out. So you say, let me put a big piece of ice. So by the time this ice melts, it can be watered up. I honestly feel that's what the Europeans were trying to do. Because they had slavery, then they moved to slavery little sister, the apprenticeship system, and thereafter they moved to their little cousin, and this was no distant relative, you know, this was the first cousin, the indentureship system. So we know after slavery ended, or I should say the apprenticeship system ended, the Africans were like, no thank you, find somebody else to do it because we ain't working with you. So the planters now had a big cry. It was like, what we gonna do? Where we gonna live? What's gonna be the economic situation here? They had many questions. So there's one plantation owner, Mr. Gladstone. He owned Plantation Vredenhoop and Plantation Vredenstein. He was like, you know, we could carry out an experiment in British Guyana. In other British colonies, they have an indentureship system going on where they recruit people for a fixed number of years and you give them a little something for the work that they do. So he was like, I guess him and others, they were like, let me go and talk to these recruiters in India so that we could get some East Indians to come to Guyana, to British Guyana. So they went, they spoke to these people, they were able to get whatever sorted out, and these people agreed that they would recruit the East Indians for them. These, for some as part of the recruitment, they were like, if you're moving people from these particular areas, then you have to ensure that you provide them with a return passage after this contract would have ended. For other places, it was not so. It was just like, let it go, let us spend the 5 years and then they come back. So these recruiters use various means to get these East Indians. Some were even kidnapped. Others, they told them some fancy story about greener pastures because, you know, things a little hard in India, you get better opportunities, did that, the third, whatever means, they got the people. And they were able to bring 300 plus East Indians to British Guyana on May 5th, 1838, the first set that arrived. So within the first year, the East Indians that came to the colony, they were dispersed across 6 plantations. You had the 2 on the west side, you had in Essequibo, you also had in Berbice. So the people came, and of course it's all new to them. Like, everything is so different. The language is different, the people who they're surrounded by is different. What really going on, even the environment is different. So it was a whole big adjustment for them. We know that our East Indian brothers and sisters came with their own culture. They came with their own religion, and what was interesting is that they not only came as Hindus, some came as Muslims, and others even came as Christians, a very small amount. So, like these slaves, where the missionaries did what they wanted to do, the missionaries also tried the same with the East Indians. They tried to convert them. Some were very forceful with their approach and they got a lot of resistance. The language was a big barrier for them. Others were like, let's use a softer approach, let's learn the language, let's connect with the people, and then we do X, Y, and Z. The experience on the plantation for the East Indians was not, it was no greener pastures, because wages were low, very, very low. There were accounts where persons mentioned that the wages were so low that the belly can't even be full. To add to that, the Europeans were like, we are the kings and queens of creating misery, so we can implement a lot of laws, so a lot of punishments will be in place. If y'all think y'all gonna run and do stupidness and we won't get value for the little bit of money that we giving you, y'all lie. So for the smallest of things, the East Indians were punished. If they didn't attend a meeting or a roll call, they were punished. The money get cut. If they didn't finish their work in a particular time, the money get cut. Some instances, they were even jailed for misconduct, whatever misconduct was defined at back then. But it was no joy and wonders for the East Indians. So at the end of the indentureship system, or at the end of the contract, the 5 years, some of them chose to go back home. And when they went back home, while some were able to adjust to what was their former homes, others were not able to, and they chose to remigrate to other British colonies. I do not know what happened, but there was a temporary halt to the indentureship system from 1839 to 1845. So no Indians were being brought. Nobody was traveling to Guyana to work on the plantations then. After 1845 to 1917, when the indentureship system ended, there was a smooth flow, consistent, no halts to the transportation of people there. But it is said that the largest set of East Indians brought to the Caribbean arrived in Guyana. At the end of the system, you had approximately 240,000 East Indians arriving, and about 75,000 of them returning to India. Oh, I forgot to listen. These people, if they wanted to leave the plantation, they had to get a pass. Like, it was jail basically, and they getting money to be in jail.